This was a rotary thing that our neighbors, Tom and Millie, had given my mother about 20 years ago. And it's got a little rusty. And I wasn't going to go buy a new one for $40, especially given the fact that they used to be cheaper. So I decided to take it apart and clean this up the best I could. There's a little bit of pitting on there, but still works, still good, still rotates. So just using a wire brush to clean up some of the rust and some of the stuff. So what I did was I cleaned this up the best I could. This is all rust particles and stuff. This thing was caked on with thick rust. So I knocked off what I could and then used a wire brush on the grinder here. Grind wheel on that side. A wire brush on that side, just like my Uncle Paul showed me how to do. I cleaned this up the best I could. A lot of this is pitted. I'm gonna have to put 3 new rivets in here because this is a little loose. And like I said, this is all caked with rust, thick rust. That's what a lot of this stuff is here. So I cleaned it up the best I could. The good news is at least it will work. It might not look pretty, but it's old and it'll work. Clean this up good. A lot of that, like I said, it's all pitted. It looks like rust, but it's pitted. Cleaned up the spring, the outer nut. I cleaned up this, it's called a barrel pin. It's got a pin with a bushing barrel on there. That all moves freely now. I'm gonna oil it up real good. Like I said, cleaned up this. This is all pitted. I have to knock out this pin here and put another pin in on that side. And then, like I said, clean that up. This thing's gonna work almost like brand new. Like I said, it's not pretty, but it is old, and it will work. That's what counts. These things used to be fairly cheap. You used to be able to get these for like 10, 20 bucks. Now with the cost of everything going up, they're at least 40 or more. So my Jaja, Sigmund Alexander Suchorski, and my Uncle Paul Allen Suchorski, and my mother always told me right out, why spend money on stuff that you don't have to? Just fix the old stuff. So that's what I do. I even cleaned up the washer there. So I'm working on this. I'm using wire brush on a drill to get in around the crevices here. Got a clamp holding that in. This whole thing was covered in rust before. Look at it now. Most of this is done with a wire brush on an angle grinder from outside. Now I'm just working on this. Harder to get into there. I might have to use a little smaller brush. So now I've switched to this little brush here. We're going to try and get into this crevices here. I mean, it's not going to affect the performance of this, but I'd just like to clean it up a little bit. My judge always said, if you're going to do something, do it right, and do it right the first time. He also said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Perfect. Nice. It's coming off a little bit more. That rust. Okay, so here we are. We got most of it. The thing is, a lot of it's pitted, so the rust is down in there. It's never going to be perfect. I mean, you're not going to get every single piece of rust off there. but that's way better than it was. Now we're gonna flip it over. What we want to do is, you'll see here, that shakes like that. We want to drill out these 3 rivets, and we're going to put some new rivets in, make that tighter the way it's supposed to be. But we're going to clean up a little bit more here though, see if we can. Okay, that's about the best we can get that. Like I said, a lot of this rust is down in the pits, so now we're going to pop out them rivets, put new rivets in, and then we're going to oil this up real good with some lubricant, WD-40 and some 3-in-1 oil, and then put this all back together. Yucky. Okay, there we are. There it is without the wheel. We sand it up a little bit there. That's what's left of the old rivets, the original ones. Here's that outer side that we did. Now here's the inner side. We're gonna fix that up and make that a little bit more better like this. But this is what that originally looked like. As you can see, a lot better. Started cleaning up some of this. Okay, that's about the best we're going to get that. Like I said, a lot of the stuff is just too pitted. This thing is well over 30 years old. It's probably one of the originals. So that's about the best we're going to get that cleaned up. And this. There we go. Now we got to put some rivets in and put this piece back together now. So now we're just drilling holes a little bit. Perfect. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we got a very small, tiny drill bit from a set of drill bits that my Uncle Paul bought me for Christmas a couple years ago. Got my Harley Davidson rig, which I usually use for shining my bike, but I used it right now to clean off some of this rust on here. Just throwing that in the washer and clean that up after. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with this rivet here, and then we're going to drill out the others. I got the clamp holding it down here, so go from there. Okay, first rivet is in. These are the rivets that I got from my Uncle Paul, which is cool because it's like him and my Jaja are here working on this with me in a way. So that's cool. That's what it's like. There you go. 3 brand new rivets on a clean wheel. Well, cleaner. Perfect. Now this can all go back together. Look at that. I'm actually proud of this work that I've done. Very good. Actually, you know what? I might paint this. Probably should have painted it before I put the rivets in, but hey, you know what? It's okay. But then again, I might not paint it. I just might leave it the way it is because it's original like this.